hopefully they are...
Please tell me, if he's a Nongshim fan and he walked 350 kilometers to get here and watch that game one, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's going to be a cold, difficult 350 kilometers back home. Let's just say that.
You know what? If the series continues like that, it's okay to get a taxi. You know?
Yeah, no, please get a taxi. I think that's the way to do it. Maybe a plane. All right, let's get into the draft here for game number 2. Nongshim chosen first pick, and so therefore they will be moving to the red side. As the Varus going to be taken away, first ban on blue once again, but different team going to be doing the honors as one more time, Xin and Bard both being banned away here by Nongshim. Not wanting to see those.
Yeah, so we got a lot of power picks let through, which are obviously going to be denied because of Fearless, but also we're kind of continuing this trend of banning a lot of things that we don't typically see banned in the first rotation.
Yeah.
With, you know, Bard, Xin Zhao. I think for DRX, Varus, and Rumble, very typical bans. And the Rise is going to get taken away as well. I think the Orianna Azir being out frees up a lot of that pressure.
I wonder what this is aiming for as far as first pick is concerned, though. Nico was banned away last time. That might be what DRX do look to ban this time as well. Jarvan is another big one. Sponge, big fan of playing the Jarvan. So it could be that he decides to go that direction. And the Nico will be banned. So J4, sort of the big pick, judging on what the bans were looking like last time.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vi, honestly,
never mind.
The thing with the Jarvan is like first picking it, there's a lot of picks available that the Jarvan's just not super effective into, like Corki, Ezreal, kind of mitigate it. And as much as you might pick those into Vi to make Vi's life a little less easy, I still think that the point-and-click aspect is going to make, you know, you're still going to connect with the ult. It just means that you're a little bit further away when it does come through. I feel like we've seen Corki, when it's been into Yunara, not do as well in play-ins, but with Yunara off the Rift right now, I think G are going to feel pretty happy about picking this up. I wonder if we get a support pick coming in on 3 here for DRX, because I feel like Corki's... We've rarely seen the support paired up before the second rotation of bans. We often see the pairings just filtered away before that point. They are going to lock in the Jarvan, though, here.
Yep. A lot of power in the jungle. Both of these junglers pretty strong at this point in time. As rounding out of the picks, with the Taliyah not actually decided to be picked up, does mean that Scout gets to go towards it. Taliyah Vi has been quite powerful here in the LCK.
I also think a pick that Scout will feel very confident on.
Oh, I was hoping that it wasn't going to be a Scion.
Yeah.
Especially paired with Taliyah, I just feel like you have no damage.
Also, just for Kingen, I feel like Kingen, not to critique his Scion, but just, I feel like they've had this tendency recently just to put him on tanks and kind of, you know, bear the brunt of whatever matchup he's put into. When I feel like the best we've seen from Kingen has been on more carry matchups.
Yeah.
So, looks like they will just stick him on the Scion, and it's a pretty low damage composition so far from the side of Nongshim.
And now, I mean, Rich can just play Rek'Sai if he wants to. It's sort of the pretty stock standard response to the Scion. The Cassante, just fight tank with tank, but Cassante does more damagey things.
To me, I feel like Rich is more of a player who has opted into these in the past, in like recent years, like tank versus tank matchups in the top lane. Like when I think of Rich as a player, he was someone who would opt into these so much. Whereas that's why I think it's just weird of Kingen to handshake this and say, yeah, I'm down, and just go sign into Cassante. So,
well, I mean, they had the exciting damage matchup last time, and the junglers messed it all up. And so, like, the junglers are bound to ignore us if we just both play tanks, right? Is Nami going to be taken away? This has been a bit of a hot choice alongside the Corki.
I feel like this always happens. This is kind of what I was talking about, is that they pick Corki in the first 3, they don't pick support in the first 3, and Nami always gets banned in the second rotation. AD carry's being banned out by DRX, Kai'Sa, and Kalista. You really need a lot of damage from your AD carry for Nongshim. It has to be a high output AD carry because there's a strong front line already, and I just don't think the rest of the composition really is going to cut through with what you have so far.
Well, one more ban to come on through here. See what Nongshim do want to take away. The Ahri going to be removed. Has been a pretty common answer, as Andor is just having a giggle. Wonder what this means as far as what he wants to be picking up. Is it theoretically... no, there's no way that they flex Corki or something like that, and that's why he's laughing. Let's see, though. It could be a Ziggs comp. You could play a Ziggs situation and then put Corki in mid lane. I think funny.
Ari makes sense because obviously the matchup into Talia is pretty good. I feel like you could play, I mean, they're looking at the Syndra. I was going to say you could play like the Aurora in this situation, but happy with the Syndra. I also think it makes Vi and Sion's jobs pretty difficult, right? Vi approaching with the Q pretty hard with the stun. Sion as well, trying to set up with his Decimating Smash quite hard. Looking like Nongshim going to go with the Ezreal Leona, and Ezreal obviously a lot of safety into the picks that DRX has. Damage output cutting through the front line really comes down to whether Talon's just hitting all his shots.
Yeah. And with Leona, this is actually like the 2v2 is pretty powerful. Sunlight can be procced pretty comfortably here by the Ezreal, and you can really get some damage done in the 2v2. But you're not going to feel as bad picking something like an Alistar into it. An Alistar R5 or B5 in this case is very, very nice when Sylas isn't available. And so I think DRX is going to be feeling pretty happy with how this draft went. I'm quite worried about the damage profile here. Not the damage profile, just the lack of damage in general on Nongshim's side. But if they get off to a good lead, then it won't really matter, right? And we know that Ezreal can definitely take over a game when he does have an advantage. I mean, just look at what Teddy did the last couple of days.
I think
it was very impressive.
Both compositions is going to be about that early momentum. If either get it, it's going to make a big difference, right? The AD carries have similar spikes, but I think if it does go in the later stages, then I feel like Syndra's going to have more damage than the Talia is. The Corki also having that crit scaling. It's a lot more consistent than the Ezreal. If you are hitting the shots on the Ezreal, fantastic, right? It can do a lot, but you have to be consistent with those Mystic shots, whereas Corki can just kind of right-click. And it's as simple as that with a big crit. So we'll see how it plays out. I think DRX, a little bit easier execution on their side, whereas for the side of Nongshim, they need to really get the ball rolling. They do have more agency in the jungle this time, though. They don't just have a Rock who's kind of chilling to level 6.
Yeah, we'll see whether that is going to make the difference. We know that this team has really gotten behind Sponge and sort of his erratic ways. And when they do fall in sync, it works out very well. See whether Nongshim can get back on the horse as we get into Game 2. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Onto the rift for game number 2. Let's see whether Nongshim have woken up just a little bit. One bit of good news is that everyone went to the bathroom, obviously, and we have not needed to pause the game. For that reason, means that Wolf is relaxed, you know, and everyone is feeling like they're just ready to concentrate on the game, which is great news.
Some good learnings after game 1.
Indeed.
That's the takeaways we need.
And that's what you have to focus on, you know? As Andal is using Lahenz's favorite skin and barrels, might I add, for the Alistar.
Oh yeah, Conqueror Alistar?
Yeah, it's sort of like the most cool looking, the edgiest looking Alistar is. All right, we've got supports hitting 80 carries. What were you going to say?
Is this one Marauder? Oh.
Yeah, I think that rings a bell. Nongshim just going to walk at them.
Yeah, this one's Marauder Alistar.
It's certainly one of the coolest skins. Certainly an incredibly old skin as well. It's been around for quite some time.
The ones we see are Marauder, Black Frost, or Mukau.
Yeah, Mukau is, I think, still one of the greatest skins that's ever been made.
The cowbell, when everyone was spamming that.
Oh, so good.
Good presence early from Taeyun and Lahens on this Ezreal Leona. It is a strong 2v2, and obviously Alistar doesn't offer too much presence in the early levels, even though the matchup into Leona is pretty good in general. Level 1 don't have a ton to offer.
Yeah.
I also feel like we've just seen Corki just having such limited presence in the level 1.
Whoa. Yeah, so Alistar has not been finding too much success. You can see here, everyone picking up a smorgasbord of losses on this one. The only one with 2 is Lahens in that streak. But let's see whether he is going to be able to dish out what had been coming his way earlier on. Yukal does manage to hit that cannon, and the mid lane, one of the places where DRX does have a slight advantage.
Yeah, I think ultimately just lane priority and success in the bot lane 2v2 has been so important. And I think Alistar's fallen out of favor because of that.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite work. Also the danger of the Sylas, so you can't just pick Alistar's early and just be happy about it. It's just not really a thing. Scout of the Week comes in. Scout just still having a bit of a rough time here. But Talia has always been a champion that he's been quite confident on. But at this stage of the game, UCal building splinters, throwing orbs, having a great time. Let's see whether Sponge can change things here as the Pulverize comes down. A little bit of a battle here towards his bottom side, but with no Zenith Blade, Lahen's not able to re-engage. And it looks like Sponge is just going to go for that reset. Doesn't want to waste too much time.
Yeah, that was actually super risky from Andal because the Zenith Blade misses from Lahen. So he's like, hey, I can do a quick little trade, but it's like, why did Lahen's go for the Zenith?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Lahen's.
Well, but also, like, if Sponge had sort of felt, hey, we can make this happen, he could have just gone in.
Yeah.
Andal was a little overextended there. I mean, this is kind of us working from the spectator perspective, but could have potentially been a little dangerous. Either way.
Perspectator, you mean?
The spectator, yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, nothing really comes from it. Sponge was just kind of hovering around.
Yep. So, no harm, no foul. DRX are still behind a bit here in this bottom lane, though.
Kingen doesn't opt to take Ignite this time on the Scion.
So just doesn't want to get a double kill?
Yeah.
Or back-to-back solo kills, I should say.
Not sure why.
Well, I mean, he did lose, even though he did get back-to-back solo kills.
That's
so
true.
Maybe he thought, perhaps, it is not the best.
His mid laner also has Ghost, so he doesn't have the second TP to like cover the side lane.
Ah, yes, true.
Also,
another one of Wolf's pet peeves.
He's into a Cassandra.
The Ghost Syndra situation.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Wolf's getting targeted today. It's just not very fair.
Yeah. And he's on the space where he can complain about it.
That's a good point.
You're right, as a spacer, is to complain about things.
It is. It's just pure entertainment, really. That's what we want to see in our content, is people complaining. As Rich going to find some cues here towards Kingen. The Cassante doing just fine in the matchup, but obviously it doesn't matter. The top lane is somewhere that we're only going to look at when we're bored. And by we, I mean Jonah Strong.
We got the 7-loss streak for Alistair, and then the 7-loss streak for Corki. This is kind of what I mean, though. We've seen...
Has it just been Alistair Corki every time? It may have actually been.
I think it's been a lot. It hasn't
close to that.
It hasn't been all the games, but it's been a lot.
Because I think a lot of people think that Corki like wins lane comfortably, and so therefore you get to just pick the Alistair with it, and it's fine, and then you just get enchanted and die. As Lahen's going to pay a visit towards the Syndra here, as UCal tries to get rid of Scout. He was burning down, but does manage to survive, but uses everything to get out.
I think this is part of the problem we've had, is that we've seen the Corki...
Oh, they're going all out here as Rich looking for the angle onto King, and he does have flash, and he will have to use it. And Rich holds on to his high value on the ultimate out of the Cassante.
Finds a good angle. So, you know, Summoner found top lane on a King you can't happen to burn both, so a good trade-off, even though Lahen's obviously invested a lot to get that. Sponge gonna just look to pick up Dragon here.
Yeah, should be able to take it as well with UCal making his way back to lane.
Yeah,
a lot of priority there.
So many times recently, we just haven't seen Corki having the success in lane. I think this was kind of the point I was saying in draft about, you know, do we see them pick up support in the first 3 with the Corki? They had a chance to, they didn't. You know, you think of like Corki Nami as being something that can definitely win lane, right?
Yeah.
So Genji playing that. We're just not seeing Corki Nami. We're not seeing teams prioritize their support pairing. There's been a lot of Corki Alistair, where you just end up losing out on the lane pressure. And even then, I've seen like Corki going up against things like Yunara. Yunara gets lane access, and Corki's level 1 is pretty weak, and then just you lose out in terms of pressure.
Yeah, the thing that's a bit better here is that I feel like you don't get as severely outscaled into an Ezreal.
Yeah.
Even though Ezreal does do fine in the later stages of the game, it's not like a hyper carry. They do somewhat similar things and hit similar spikes throughout the game, so maybe it's going to feel better here. But we'll just have to see. As Nongshim, with that first dragon, feeling like tempo is much better for them this game.
Here's another issue, right, for Corki being on a loss streak.
What's that?
Genji haven't played in a while.
Ah, yes. There is the ruler doesn't play often thing, and therefore doesn't get to make sure that Corki's stats are as good as possible.
Yep.
That is a definite factor, as Jiu is going to get a lot of money from wards, as we just saw there. UCal playing very respectfully, doesn't have flash. Scout does have his available, still halfway through that cooldown, so isn't the worst case scenario.
And both junglers now having ultimates available have, I mean, neither of them really doing much with the early game, even though they have the ability to, but level 6 is available can really start to make things happen.
Yep. Jiu as well, now with some rockets starting to be fueled up. And we'll see whether that poke is going to start doing some things towards that bottom side to try and help them out in the matchup. Right now, there is a whole lot of summoner spells available outside of Lahen's flash, so theoretically some 2v2s could be going down. As Yukal picks up this wave, but tempo was there for Scout. Can he use that in order to go back home? The Grubs do spawn. Haven't seen anyone really pay a visit over there just yet. Nongshim out to a decent advantage, actually, after that play in the mid lane, as Andal does use the Unbreakable Will. That's going to mitigate a lot of the damage here, and a trade of ultimates all over the place.
I think he just hit level 6 just as the ult came down from a minion. So, kind of unfortunate timing for Nongshim, who were looking to capitalize just before he got it.
Oh no, that was not the time to walk up, Taeyoon! Sometimes the Arcane Shift comes down and the regret immediately follows as Lahens kind of wishes he hadn't flashed in that mid lane because he is likely dead as well. No Aftershock left, and Jiu collects another double!
Yeah, I think sometimes when a game's going slowly, players can get a little bit impatient.
We're still doing push-ups!
Oh man.
All right,
yeah.
we're good. Yeah, this Ox, I hate to just be a broken record, you know, but where did that take place? In the bottom lane.
In the bottom lane.
No scuttles there.
That's true.
No scuttles to worry about.
Oh, there's a scuttle here though.
Oh dear. But
be
look,
careful, Willa.
Willa, do not all in on the scuttle. Do not all in on the scuttle.
He wants to.
Oh, well.
Oh my god.
Wait, are they just going to get the scuttle? That is insane.
Who is this team?
Oh my gosh.
What did Joker do with them?
Well, Kingen might be dead here, as Rich looking for a bit of an angle once again. Doesn't have the all-out anymore.
It just kind of missed everything.
Yeah.
But you know what? I liked the gusto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gumption, a much better word.
Both good words.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like, hey, we could make a play. He just Arcane Shifted it.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
The thing is, Lahens has no flash, and he has Cataclysm, so he's like 1,000,000% dead, but they're like, hey, let's just see if we can kill him without ulting.
Yeah.
And they can. But it's like, it's so nice when you have that support left over, and it's like they are so dead beyond belief. We're just trying to work out if we can kill them without using cooldowns.
Yep, just try to auto-attack them the entire way.
They also gave both kills to the Corki.
Yeah, so now, even though the early laning phase didn't necessarily look the greatest for the Corki Alistar lane, perhaps we're getting out of the loss streak honestly, this time around.
Crazy. I can't believe, Max, you're so foolish as to think that it would be a 3-2.
I know. Why didn't I just predict 3-0? That would have... A lot of regret. A lot of regret. It's fine.
Early days still.
It's fine.
But
the reverse sweep set up into pull it back for the last game because Andal's really good at the start and the end. Did he barrier after getting hit by the ult? Oh no. Rich pulled Kingen back now with the all out. There's the unstoppable onslaught. He's going the wrong direction though, so he's going to take a bunch of turret shots. He's just going to leave.
Yeah, he's
stage right.
Oh no, he's proxying a wave. This was intentional. It was planned.
It was the plan all along.
Yeah.
Absolutely genius.
What a champion Sion is.
Yep. Beautifully, beautifully done.
Okay, dragon fight. Top lane is resetting to TP.
Lahens does get spotted here on this flank angle. Teleports come forward from Rich, looking to get in there. Zenith Blade goes wide. The Pulverize doesn't. Hits onto 2. There's the knockup from Willer as well as cease and desist into the backline. Finds the Corki. And it is going to be the Cloud Drake taken down. And DRX again just mop them up. Nongshim just finding no joy in this game.
Just doesn't even look close. Decimate them. We see Kingen come in, but too late to really make a difference. Scout's looking from the outside. Oh, that connects.
And the flash does get used, but a little bit late, so Yukal still gets hit by the Q. Still Rich in a little bit of trouble, but he shields himself up. He's Cassante, he's fine. And Nongshim still not able to find too much, but now maybe a dive attempt could be coming in, or Andal trying to save the player Scout. Flashes over the top, and the threaded volley connects onto the Syndra. Andal wanting to get in range of a headbutt Pulverize, but he will not get there. And finally Nongshim are on the board, as Kingen does light up the Phaelite, but does have to get out of there. He was looking a little worse for wear.
Yeah, that play got a little bit messy towards the end, but still big bonus for DRX getting the dragon and being able to... I thought he was going to Valk into it there. And after the barrier before, I was just like, come on, Jiwoo, lock in.
I mean, he's the 3-0-1 Corki with the Trinity Force already done.
I know,
he's fine.
Which makes it even funny.
He doesn't need to lock in anymore. He's like, nope. We can turn the resolution down on the monitor. You know, even if it's blurry, it'll be fine.
Okay, so this fight, we end up seeing Andal get this double knockup that disrupts the Vi and also forces Taeyoon really out the fight. So Taeyoon is just like, he's not here anymore. It ends up in this melee in the pit,
And the Solar Flare went completely wide.
Yeah, Sponge and Hens get decimated. You know, Kingin's only just joining now. Taeyun didn't get to do anything. Scout's out the fight. This is where it gets a bit messy, though.
This was well played.
Yeah, this got a bit crazy. This is kind of like Nongshim, like we have to get something from this.
Oh, looks to find the angle, flashes the Scout of the week.
Yeah, and also Kingin got a good flash there as well, otherwise Andal would have CC'd him on the tower. This was risky, I'll be honest, from Nongshim, but I think they're in the position now where they're like, we kind of have to make risky plays. The game is not going well, and if we lose this, it's reverse sweep or bust.
And losing the Dragon feels even worse because it's Hextech Soul again, back to back on the Electric Dragons. And so we'll see. It is a little bit better here for Nongshim this time around. It's not the double Dragon picked up by DRX. And so possibility to grab this third one, get themselves in the lead as far as that Dragon count is concerned, feel a little bit better there. As Rich and Kingin just continuing to fight. Feels like Rich is getting more done though, as once again the all-out comes on in. And another ultimate going to be used to escape here from Kingin. Rich is just having the greatest time.
Yeah.
This Cassante.
And again, Kingin opted into this. He picked Sion blind and said, hey, let's just play tanks into each other. And
Jiu has almost the same items, almost exactly the same items. In fact, it is just Steel Caps that are the difference, and I think he felt like he was a lot stronger than he actually was.
Yeah, Steel Caps definitely helping though. Yeah. AD carry 1v1. Oh, Yukal in trouble.
Yeah, cease and desist does come on down there. Seismic Shove does pull Yukal back as decent double knockup comes in, and oh my god, the Unleashed Power, massive damage onto the Talia, but he still managed to take down Yukal beforehand. Sponge now finding himself in a world of hurt though, as the bouncy castle is put up and Lehens is unfortunately not old enough to participate, just not allowed to join, and it is just Sponge. He's going to be taken down. Yeah,
Yukal doing a good job of getting all his damage off before he goes down, just making sure that Willa can clean up, and Willa just doing the consistent damage. Cataclysmed him, and even though it's a Vi who typically can get out, he kind of like body blocked him so that if he queued, he wouldn't be able to get away. Andal playing Bouncer as well.
Is Lehens the oldest player, or is it Scout? As anyway, Taeyun once again going to get engaged on here by Jiu. The barrier does come on down for both of them. Solar Flare to pick up Jiu though, and Andal a little bit too late, or without quite as much range as the Leona. And Jiu didn't quite need to do that, but he did.
Yeah. Went in a little aggressively, and remember, he hasn't gone cleanse against a Leona, which is a little bit uncommon.
Indeed. I like the use of the word uncommon. I felt like you were searching for a different one.
So I did check, and Scout is
oh my goodness. Older. They are very, very, very similar ages, though. It's like within 9 months of each other.
Pretty close.
And almost exactly 10 years younger than me. So there you go. Puts things in context for you, doesn't it? All right. Jiu and Taeyun doing battle once again, as Lehens was actually thinking about leaving. You could see he was actually here the whole time.
That was a great solo flare, honestly. Yeah. Even just the slow, I think, probably wouldn't be enough. Jiu, I think, had the damage at the end. Maybe the slow would have put him out of auto range, hard to say. But the stun lands, gets the trade kill, and Nongshim keeping themselves alive in this game.
Yeah.
Kind of pulling the gold lead back a little bit. Now starting off this Dragon here.
And there is certainly some teamfight potential. All out available once again here for Rich. Massive shield as the Cassante just dives into the backline. The Herald does come on through, and it looks like DRX is just going to be able to take this Dragon without too much of a kerfuffle. Yeah, there it goes. Also grab a little bit of value here out of the Rift Herald at the same time in this bottom lane.
Interesting decision just to give up the Dragon.
Can't lose a team fight if you don't participate in a team fight, Ox.
That's true.
Checkmate.
We kind of talked about the fact that, you know, DRX, I feel like, are pretty happy to take this to the later stage of the game. You're also only really getting a bit of gold onto your Sion, which is, you know, whatever. And it's a Hextech Soul, so...
Yeah, I think contesting Dragons when it's Hextech Soul is often a good idea.
Yeah. Well, obviously didn't feel like they had the right setup for it, and opted to live to fight another day. Taeyun does have tension angle to get damage on this tower mid. We'll see if he gets to hit it here. No, he's forced away by Jiwoo, so no opportunity. But they are kind of rotating down bot, looking for some way to get a first tower.
Yeah, Sponge is also looking for some Krugs. Rich doesn't like that, but he is pushed away from his turret. Scout is down here as Lehen's moving over as well. It is Operation Let's Kill Rich, and it is going to work out as he gets a big old shield. Scout trying to find the angle. Oh, one more auto, and there's the threaded volley, but Andil just going to knock him into the sky, and that's going to mean it's a 1-for-1 in the end. Assist gold, I guess, makes it more monetarily worth it there for Nongshim, but it was a large man investment towards that bottom lane.
Just kind of showing the issue that I feel like this Nongshim comp is going to have. Rich doesn't really have much MR outside of the Merc Treads, and it took so much time for them to cut through him with the Talia.
Sponge just also lost his entire jungle, as now Taeun finds Willa.
That is very close to Jarvan. I mean, he is in the tower, so he can't really do much to you, but, you know, Taeun definitely playing very forward with his arcane shifts.
He has certainly been doing some arcane shifting this game.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's making me anxious, but sometimes that's where greatness comes from, on the edge of failure. So let's see whether he's going to continue playing that fast and loose. And Jiu, very similar story here after that 1v1 attempt from earlier on. Let's have a look at this one more time, as Rich just survived for that little bit, way too long.
Yeah. And the fact, you know, he's already like 2/3 HP. You have a lot of people hitting him, and he still just survives for such a long time.
Yeah, and then the full commitment has to come.
Damage, yeah. I mean, I know Talia's, it's still pretty early, but that was a completed Seraph's. I just feel like the Talia's just not offering that much damage, especially this Seraph's Rylai's build. I see real damage issues with this Nongshim composition.
Yeah,
there's a lot of frontline in the enemy team.
And if Taeun dies, what do? They just throw little rocks.
Or if you miss a Mystic shot, and not even like I'm saying it's like specifically like, oh, he missed, like he's playing badly. Like there is plenty of reasons you can miss a Mystic shot. Like someone could flash, and like you don't get the cooldown refund, and that's like such a DPS loss.
Yeah.
Or like if you have to arcane shift away and you're not in range to hit anyone. Like when Ezreal represents so much of your DPS, he's not the most reliable DPS. And the fact is you need Taeun to be just playing at a super high level consistently to be getting the value of your composition. It's very risky.
And I mean, this was the pick that he built notoriety on in the LPL. So yeah, if there's any time to channel some of that, we're going to need to see it here.
He's going to need to pop off, whereas Jiwoo just kind of needs to right-click.
Yeah.
And stay safe.
Oh, he can gattle gun and use his the phosphorus bomb. He can use some of that. Press Q a bit.
Nice. Yeah, he can do that. Get some Trinity Force procs.
Yeah. Why is Corki's Valkyrie called Valkyrie? Does it have anything to do with Norse mythology? It doesn't really fit in my brain. Is that like an aeronautical term that I just don't understand?
Maybe it's like Flight of the Valkyries?
Yeah, I guess Valkyries do fly, and he does then fly.
Yeah. I mean, it's been called that for a while.
Interesting.
I think it'd be hard to track down the original naming convention reason.
We could ask someone. We could put in a word.
Sure, someone knows.
We'll work on it. If anyone in chat knows, just let us know. All right, DRX.
Okay, Yukal has gone like the speediest build. Actually, I say that he hasn't gone the upgraded Ionians, which would truly be the speediest build. But he's gone like the Cosmic Drive, Blackfire Torch, so you constantly have the dot, which gives you movement speed, and has Ghost, and has Phase Rush. So
yeah, this is like the new favorite build.
This is like the Ferrari syndrome.
It's an homage to Ride of the Valkyries. So there you go. That's the theory. Someone in chat thinks it's a Apocalypse Now reference. There's all sorts of things. So a lot of reasons why it would be called Valkyrie is their Scat of the Week. Kingen not very weak at the moment, looking pretty healthy as the Weaver's Well comes down. This might be able to help guarantee a Drake as Rich gets himself into position, avoids getting shoved back as well. The rest of DRX getting held away though as Taeun arcane shifts out of the fight. Ulti from Kingen, but Rich just disengages. No one really fully committing, but Sponge is still on this dragon. And now Andil trying to get himself into the backline. Hex
the flank
to get him over there. Let's see whether Rich can find the angle as the headbutt comes in. And oh my goodness, that is not where Scout wanted to be. How did he even get there? I'm not even sure he knows at this point in time, but somehow he's now in the death chamber, and that is Soul Point going over to DRX.
Such a great angle there from Andal to find Scout, and he just gets bounce housed. And, you know, we talked about lacking damage composition.
Dear. Scout of the Week comes in once again. Another Hepa pulverized. This is game 2, Andal. Someone remind him, because he's playing so well. The outer turret stays alive as Taeun in a bit of trouble. That was an auto from Jiu. That one's scary. After the Trinity Force, but it looks like no more casualties apart from this turret.
Turret should just go down here. But yeah, I mean, we talked about lacking damage. If you lose one of your carries, you're especially in the bin here. It's this moment, Andal takes the Hex Gate, Scout gets flashed behind, knocked in, bounced once, bounced twice, dragged through by the Cassandra, just dead.
Yeah.
And Nongshim
The
like,
fact
well,
that it's a bounce house and you get all out of it, like you're just being thrown every single direction.
yeah. I think when you saw the Hex Gate, he just had to trade flashes with Andal, which I'm not gonna lie, if he did that, that'd be like such an insane level of foresight.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the only way he lives there. Is like he has to read the Alistair and be like, I have to trade flashes immediately, and that'd be like one of the greatest plays we've seen in the LCK Cup so far. But
And instead, it was a great play that we've seen in the LCK Cup, but on the other side.
yeah. So honestly, Andal, such a phenomenal flank there he found to just completely catch Scout out and punish him there.
And Andal has just been really having some phenomenal games this LCK Cup.
Yeah.
I think it's so far been the greatest that we've seen him consistency-wise. Is all right, Weaver's Wall does come towards the top side. Seismic Shove does go a little bit wide, but I think they've still got enough to take down the Syndra. Andal and Will are not going to be able to offer enough damage back. And so punish UCal in side lanes is an operation that has been working as we're teleporting to the Baron. All right, Nongshim. Let's see whether this is going to work out. They're going to have to clear out all the vision first, but they might be able to do this.
Rich has no TP, so he's going to be a little slow. But Taeun's not even hitting the Baron yet.
Well, Lehens is also looking for a flank angle as Andal does see that this ward is here. Rich is now moving over. They spot Lehens as Jiu looks to get himself to safety. The Seismic Shove's done nothing, and Willa finds everyone with the flag and drag as Rich looking to get into that backline onto Taeun. The Arcane Shift is good, but the flash is there. Rich doesn't hit the Q though. Taeun survives for a long time, but Scout's dead. The damage is gone, and Nongshim just invited DRX to the Baron pit and basically fed it to them.
That was such a crazy fight, and honestly, Jiu just kind of went melee mode on the Corki, flew straight in and just went, you guys don't have the damage to deal with me, and I'm just going to get maximum Gatling gun value in this situation. UCal gets caught out here. Not much you can do to outplay the Vi in this situation, and the team just isn't there in time to back him up. Killed here, and they know that Sante's going to be slow, but DRX know there's so much time. So you even see Andal going for this big flank. We see Jiu gets caught out here, gets solar flared, but they get engaged onto Scout. Rich is such a problem, and they take so long to cut through him. He's just constantly a threat on the backline. Taeun can't really deal with him. And Jiu just flies in. He's like, I am killing your DPS.
He just walked past Lehens and Kingen.
Yes, he doesn't
And then
care.
Valkyrie just in the middle of the fight.
He just doesn't care. Also, his build, he's going Bruiser Corki.
Oh yeah, he's done this every time actually. He's like the guy that really
Look at
likes
him!
Black Cleaver. Yeah, he's just going forward.
He's assessed. You guys don't have the damage. I am now a bruiser.
And do you know what I feel Nongshim said? When they decided to go for that Baron, they're like, we took down UCal, we took down the Syndra, they're lacking damage. You know, one of the damage-dealing members is missing. Well, Nongshim unfortunately didn't draft any damage in their composition, so it was already missing on their side, and perhaps they didn't quite understand it.
Yeah, yeah. Look at that gold swing, oh my god.
Yeah, that's a decent angle here for DRX to move to match point.
It's also 45 seconds until Hextech Soul, which, yeah, that'll be pretty good.
Yeah,
for DRX.
I've seen examples of it being pretty good, and you know, as an old man, my memory is not so great. Thankfully, I can still remember today because it did happen in the last game, even if it didn't really play much of a part because the game was kind of already over.
Because we already had,
And it's going to get knocked up as Willa looking to cause a ruckus. Andal finds himself in an awkward position here as UCal ghosting around the fight. There's the Cataclysm right on top of Scout. They're looking to take him down as Rich gets into the backline and just disrupts everyone. That's two already on the floor. Taeun thinks he's in safety, but This is Cassante, and Rich is going to chase him down. Taeun and Kingen, the only ones still standing here is... Okay, Andel's going to get flashed on. He does go down, but there's the flash forward from Rich. He's underneath the turret, and he looks like he doesn't care. Maybe he should care a little, as DRX might be breaking open the base, or they might just be leaving because they're looking a little worse for wear.
I just want to know, Rich has joined the Bandle Pipers.
Oh my, another Bandle. No, wait, he was the Bandle Piper.
Yeah,
Rich was the original Bandle Piper.
He's picked up the item now, so he's...
Oh, no, but he was, because he was the original, like, Bandle Pipes.
Yes, but I'm saying he's picked up the item. So
I know.
So he has it, right?
Yeah.
He's...
Oh, right. So he's actually started playing.
He's performing.
Yeah,
yes.
he's performing
That's
now.
the point I'm making.
Yeah, good.
Andal also has Bandle Pipes, so they're...
Maybe Andal is now actually, you know, an honorary member.
Yeah, it's a duet now.
Oh.
But yeah, Scout just seems unable to survive in this game, if I'm being real. Because they have the Ezreal who gets to, you know, arcane shift around, and Yukao just flashes on him and just one-shots it. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Taeun can kite away, but he's not really capable of cutting through any of the bulk. And they don't have Hextech Soul, so yeah, I mean, just look at Jiwoo and his build and how tanky he is.
And he's got so much money as well. Level 15. It's actually even on level, so the levels aren't really much.
He just keeps valking forward.
He does, and he does it with impunity as there's the all-out. On top of Taeun is Rich, is looking for the angle, but there are a lot of bad guys around him. He doesn't have much to get this one done. There's the Weaver's Wall. Rich survived for way too long as well. I mean, Taeun is still firing out damage, but Sponge is just dead. And Jiu, he has a Valkyrie, and he's not afraid to use it. Taeun, well, he maybe... okay, could have used it a bit better than that, but that's fine. That is 2 dead for Nongshim, 1 for DRX, and Hextech Soul was already there. Like, this is already a really rough time. Wait, hang on.
I think Scout's in a little bit of trouble.
I think Scout may have just realized that the trouble has arrived. Scout of the Week comes in, Pulverize, and he's dead.
How many deaths is Scout on in this series?
6.
Series.
Right. It's got to be around 12-ish. I remember looking at Scout's scoreline when he was 0 and 5, and I believe died again before the end of the game.
He's not had a fun time, I think it's safe to say.
I would agree.
Jiwoo seems to be having a great time, though. Maybe a bit too much fun. His Valkyries per minute is off the chain.
Just doing it off cooldown.
Yes, into the wall as well.
It's like he thinks that he got an augment that gives you permanent damage amp every time you Valkyrie. So it's kind of like you're playing Nasus.
Maybe he does, honestly, at this point, because he's just spamming it.
Oh, no. Is this Nongshim fans? Nongshim fans?
I need to know.
They're not going to have
fan
a great time.
who walked 350 kilometers, please tell me that's a DRX fan. Because that's
God.
Oh, my God.
Well, maybe they're setting up for the most incredible reverse sweep that we have ever, or at least a reverse sweep that we have seen at all time.
Yeah, I hope that fan doesn't start. It's like, I got 350 kilometers to walk back. I'm going to start walking back now.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you need to win around, please.
That would be, surely they're not going to leave early after, you know, putting in all that effort.
I mean, what difference does it make? It's a rounding error at that point.
That's a very good point. All right, DRX, once again, just kind of marching towards the end of this game, and it doesn't really look like Nongshim are going to be able to cause too much of a deterrent. There is some flank angles, sort of, here is what Sponge is doing. He's on a brush, thinking about where he wants to go next. Maybe he's going to camp here for 2.5 minutes.
You can just stay in that brush, honestly, Sponge. I think it's okay. No, he wants to go.
All right, well, here's the flank. Solar Flare doesn't do too much. The Weaver's Wall goes down there. They're looking for Jiu. Let's see whether they can take it. The Pulverize is great peel, though, and Scout is already running so incredibly far. Lance is going to get taken down. Jiu is still okay. Valkyrieing for fun in the middle of the lane. Taeun's dead, so much of the damage is now missing. And there's that bouncy castle we were talking about. That is going to spell the end of King, and Scout had actually gone a really large distance away, but it wasn't far enough to get away from Willa.
Jiwoo's just too tanky. He just kind of stands there and absorbs it all, and then says, you know what?
into what?
Valkying
Yeah, no, I'm Valkying along. It was sort of just driving through. It wasn't going very far, doing very much, but he was pressing W while he was getting there. DRX are going to look to do it again, move themselves to match point in this series against Nongshim. I didn't even think this was going to be the matchup yesterday, and now DRX are finding angles 2-0. Is it just going to be a sweep? That'd be ridiculous.
Weird. Because I want to remind you the numbers,
Or does
right?
it mean that Coach Voice really didn't work, and now that DRX don't have it, they're way better?
Well, I mean, the thing to think about, right, is that out of 48 potential uses of Coach Voice, they used 46,
They
which
did.
is crazy.
And
What does that mean?
improved.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. As you can see, Taeun did a lot of damage, but unfortunately, it wasn't all that concentrated.
들어가면 안 돼 이러고?
살짝 여기 낯설만 한데?
까비 3라인 하고 보자.
본다 미드 본다.
괜찮아
라텔. 바이 높은 애들아.
한 번도 절대 안 죽어. 바이 보자 바이. 앞에 공 맞아줘
라인 살려볼래 라인? 사연 노구야 사연 노구.
아 오케이 이게 대조커의 템플이? 아 근데 뭔가 끝낼만 하지.
나이스.